In Destiny, there exists a game mode with the perfect blend of both PvE and PvP, what many Guardians would consider to be a match made in heaven for a game such as Destiny, taking the thrilling, adrenaline-inducing gameplay of Bungie's core mechanics and pitting players against each other in a monumental show of force, as Warriors of the Light put their sacred duty on hold to bang knuckles, banking moats for supremacy over each other by competing in the Drifter's Gambit, a 4v4 all-you-can-kill buffet, where the lure of darkness can be so intoxicating that many lose themselves in the act of invasion. Only those with the capacity to hold themselves together and are capable of acting beyond the normal means of the Vanguard, walking not within the light, but instead residing in the shadows cast by it, will find themselves getting paid, hero. After all, who doesn't like a reward, even if it came at a cost? As it is written, there is much to be said about Gambit, a mode that many would be foolish to neglect for the unique gameplay perspective it brings, and the mystery and intrigue surrounding what many would consider to be Destiny's most interesting characters. There was a time almost lost to history where Gambit was a force to be reckoned with, one of the most revered game modes as it held solid progression, unique rewards, and an engaging experience that, if developed upon, would have been more than the crumbling pillar of Destiny that it is today. During its prime, I basically wrote the book on how to play Gambit, but in the auto-cannibalistic nature of Destiny, good things do not go unpunished, and as such, Gambit was met with a cruel fate. A fate of stagnation where it would not be met with updates for almost years. But with my heart set on the past, I didn't even try to see if it was still good in the present. So join me, Papa Rylee, the We Have Esoteric at Home of Destiny, as we take up the mantle of the Reckoner title I almost achieved, and rewrite the Book of Gambit. When it comes to true Destiny mastery, one must dive deep within the game, allowing their inhibitions to fade in order to experience all the game has to offer. Only then can the pathway to enlightenment and true gaming mastery be unleashed upon your fellow Guardians. For how can you become learned in the ways of Destiny if you do not experience all there is to inside of the game? Yes, it is true, to transcend beyond your mortal limits, you must break boundaries. One must achieve perfection in all three of the pillars of Destiny. First involves deeming yourself superior as you temper your virginity shield by partaking in glorious competition with your fellow Guardians in Immortal, the game mode. Once you're done getting your asshole absolutely obliterated by the power of not grinding it out on a trials weekend, you absolute donkey, you can take your rage and aggression out into the stars, leveraging your knowledge of in-game systems to battle against the enemies of the last city as you vaporize the ever-loving fuck out of anything that even slightly resembles a threat. If an old woman comes into your job at the bank asking you to check her balance in the name of good security, she shouldn't have been surprised when you suplexed her ass. Balance ain't good, Grandma! And finally, for those multicultural, you would need to ascend to the next level by striking balance within yourself as you take Destiny's juicy, robust PvE systems and tack on the worst aspects of a trials weekend, that being the wall hacks, overshield, and infinite heavy ammo, and staple that crusty hemorrhoid directly onto that bitch. That's good game design, baby! Woo! You may be asking yourself, Papa Rylee, of all the challenges you've undertaken, how did you do it? How in the end did you manage to hold yourself together during this absolute Herculean task? Because in my experience, not even Johnny Sin's evil alter ego, Sonny Jins, could unfuck this mode. That's the dumbest thing I've written yet. Is that my dentist? What have I told you? My experience with Gambit was one of the best ones I've had in Destiny in recent memory. Now, back in my day, the players of Gambit were cut from a finer cloth. It was true that those that had earned a full set of Gambit armor earned more than just the mere chance to enhance their playstyle. They became living legends that ascended from cum rags to cum riches, and only the most anemic of them would lay claim to the Reckoner title, sacrificing the few meager scraps of dignity that a Destiny player has left after merely installing the game to further push the boundaries of masochism to new levels. The amount of shit you had to do to get this seal was downright diabolical. You'd have an easier time picking out an enemy stand user at a makeup convention. It would have been easier aligning the fucking stars to make Uncle Bungie cook up an Ashen Wake ornament than you would to get this seal. But for those that rose above, and for your average Gambit enjoyer, it was truly a time of great prosperity for the children of Gambit. There was different game modes that played differently depending on if you wanted to get gamer greasy or play a little bit more casual, and if you wanted a bit more challenge, then you would boot up Gambit Prime, a harder mode with unique buffs, playstyles never before seen, and a plethora of unique rewards specific to the mode. Oh, what was that? You didn't like that people had armors that gave them an advantage over you in Prime? You take your sensitive ass back to normal Gambit. This is Prime, motherfucker. We giant blocking this bitch. Yeah, so what if this overgrown scrotum gets atomized the moment you breathe in its direction? Turkey slap him and he's straight back to the Shadow Realm? He was my friend, goddammit. And I've loved him ever since. Please come back. But in my quest to understand every aspect in Destiny and bump up my terminally low seasonal rank to a somewhat acceptable level, I needed to get to the root of Gambit and take on the seasonal challenges within. I mean, just look at this rank. My mother would be disgusted if she saw a rank as low as this. So the Hot Wheels man set off on a journey of self-discovery. I prowled the lands for many moons searching for the answers, but when none would come, I undertook the scientific method by going out and asking many players if they would join me for a humble match of Gambit. My findings concluded that at the mere mention of the word Gambit, it's like I was naming fucking Voldemort, and nearly the entire fire team would scatter faster than a redditor that glanced a shower near them. Despite not getting my Gambit answers and realizing the only way forward was to dive in wiener first to unpack the mysteries within, I found this still to be a useful tool, a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Maybe you just had a nightmare raid where your teammates couldn't rub their chin hard enough to charge a single neuron, accumulating enough intelligence for the Neanderthals in your group to change a fucking light bulb. Simply ask for a match of Gambit, and just like that, brother, you're lonely. Ooh! Very lonely. On the bright side, if any bad bitches want to take advantage of me right now, I'm vulnerable. So for my Gambit journey, we were gonna need to analyze each build and its performance in Gambit. So I ran each of the 5 subclasses through the Rylee Reloaded Research and Development Department to see what kind of builds I could cook up. Then take each class into 10 entire matches of Gambit so I could better fully understand them. So what do you say, brother? Let's be bad guys. By opening up the chapter of Lightning. The teaching of Lightning is one well practiced. The art class is about speed and unbridled power, or at least it would have been had I not chosen to main a warlock. As a professional warlock main, I feel as though I'm one of the most qualified to tell you that I can piss harder than this super. There is no doubt in my mind that jumping into the air where you're vulnerable, sparking the electrons in the air as power swirls around you as you launch an omega beam of death upon your foes, should hit harder than that dollar store slap from an Eat Easy Dreg. Upon supercharging all 2 of my remaining brain cells and taking the art class into the heart of a dying star and forging that bitch into the build you see before you, a build in which synergy is the key, was but a simple task to the parking lot prophet. Demolitionist on each weapon, arc weapons to proc amplified under enough kills, fallen sunstar for ionic traces that can never decide between going in the direction they're supposed to or making like your dad and going to get the milk. I take some time to admire the beauty of the warriors of light looming in the traveler's wake, head to my fellow dirty vagrant, griming it up sicko style underneath the city streets, snag as many bounties as I can from my rat brother, and load up a queue for Gambit. The Elmer's glue and duct tape the Destiny servers were held together with decided to unravel, forcing your boy to begin mastering control over nearly every ADHD bone in my body, as my sporadic ass nearly vibrated my atoms apart like I was the Flash.
It was me, Perry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch!
Inside of Game 1, Hex and I lead the charge as we rush towards the Vex on the field. You can really see the explosive power of the build I slapped together with the pimp hand of the Walmart god. As one of the warlocks of all time in Destiny, synergy is a word I inhaled harder than the last spot Elsie Bray took a seat on. I knew that once I got to the enemies, I would be unleashing straight fire upon them. Remember, my Hot Wheels disciples, if a teammate of yours starts smoking like I did, make sure to help a brother out, slow down, and apply some lubricant, or else you get too hot and this sort of thing will happen. All this finely curated gear and displays of brief power doesn't stop me from reconciling with my true clown nature as Arc Buddy, Retrofit, and I poster up on this turd smoker while they aren't looking. I disrespect his caught lacking ass, and immediately afterwards, in an amazing display of overwhelming masculinity, I cower behind this wall as this chess grandmaster outplays me with a Deathbringer barrage. Well, despite getting absolutely demoralized, at least in my darkest hour, I can turn to the real piss drinker. What the fuck is that, man? For salvation! I take solace knowing this beacon of unyielding triumph is within my vicinity, but in my darkest hour, when I needed him the most, piss drinker wasn't there to stop Papa Rye from getting beamed in the skull by a really good sniper shot. I mean, just look at this shit. In order to repair the fragments of my fragile ego, I would need to, at the minimum, get a squad wipe. All of these expert level plays makes me want to eat a bunch of magnetic buckyballs, climb into an MRI machine, and go gadget human shotgun. If you know, you know. Just know that I know that you know. This game worries me because this video clip is titled Coordination Non-Existent, so I can only assume I managed to conquer myself and activate the power within. We start this clip off with me switching to an invasion build, slapping on Servant Leader, Beloved, my beloved sniper rifle, and oh no, Rylee, what you doing? Either way, you should hide your mother because the drip I applied in this lobby was just sopping wet. Downright torrential. Now I love the Servant Leader scout rifle. It's such a unique looking weapon, and in a world such as Destiny, where it's common practice to cram a godlike entity capable of unraveling the fabric of reality itself into a gun, sometimes it's nice to get back to the basics. Back to the bullet! All these Avengers level threats suddenly get real quiet when the Canadian rolls in with the fucking M14. And that's coming from the people that are scared of weapons. As a Canadian, you place a gun near me and it's maybe it's because when placed within the vicinity of a weapon, we start building up the maple madness like it was the frenzy flame, but all this snow is enough to make anyone go psychotic. Snow, meet the unbridled power of America. As I blast the vibranium snow compacted on the bottom of the road by a snowplow. Why the hell am I shoveling at 7 a.m.? Can you guys tell Bill C11 is past? Your boy's just trying to survive out here. Even though I'm a terrible businessman though, I had a sponsor come up to me asking me to rep their gaming chair, but I opted to keep my creaky ass one because god damn it, my dad got it for me. Now that I think about it, I probably could have just asked them to do a giveaway to you guys. Oh well, there's opportunities to learn. If learning wasn't for fucking nerds, that still doesn't distract me from the fact that I can't wait until I hit my YouTube controversy arc.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always!
As a young, naive man, I used to wish good shit would happen, but now I just hope that whatever bad shit happens is at least a bit funny. I start this match out with some impressive displays of power. When the invader comes in, I whiff nearly all of my sniper shots. Hard to believe I've been playing this game for nearly 10 years, but you bet your ass when that invasion portal opens up, Papa Rye comes out just shack nasty. I stepped out of the portal and straight up chose violence by scoping down Clubus. I then turned my weaponized near-autistic fixation on a Hot Wheels color scheme to a player with the name that is reminiscent of your average Destiny player's testosterone levels. And for my transgressions, the Wave God finally puts an end to my retribution by striking me down. Little did he know that defeating a sandwich only makes it tastier, as I pulled out nearly every trick in the book to salvage this game from falling into the abyss. The other team was a well-oiled machine and not willing to take prisoners. Coming back from my invasion has the gift of getting cucked by Uncle Bungie as I spawned in with the invader's barrel basically in my mouth. Look at this shit. Putting me down faster than saying you have a tummy ache when you're in a Canadian hospital, and I close out game 2 with a loss. Now I know what you're thinking. Papa Rye, you said you wrote the book on Gambit, yet this whole time you've been getting your ass just absolutely beat. Well, let me tell you that this is where I started to gain some serious traction. You think I hit my peak? Nah, I just started climbing the hill. The Arc class is all about pushing forward and feeling moderate disgust whenever you need to hold X to open an ammo cache when you have a speed boost, so you wind up just sprinting around it in circles, hoping you don't bump into a wall, losing your buff. The entire rest of Destiny was tacked onto my Flash Barbie dress-up game. As I returned to my happy place of the armor select screen, I figured since I already looked like absolute donkey butter by the helmet alone, that I'd enhance this even further, using nearly 90% of the Rylee Reloaded research and development budget to put this bad boy together. Again, I stand as a revolutionary in my field, a true paragon, a fashion virtuoso. But in this game, I accidentally saved my Arc loadout with a solar subclass, so for this match, all that synergy I carefully built was Thanos snapped into the ether, making my build about as useful of a member of society as your average Twitch streamer. Follow me, please! This has the ripple effect of sapping the will clean out of me. As a gamer of the modern age, and being confined to a Gambit match around 10 p.m., minor inconveniences are almost enough to push me over the line of once again reacquainting my silverware with the humble kitchen outlet. But as a warrior of the Hot Wheels faith, I know to never trust how I feel about my life after 9 p.m.
Out of this existential night.
Almost lost my cool there.
These games were recorded pre-mid-season patch, meaning that nearly every bullet out of my primaries did the damage equivalent of accidentally saying sweet dreams to your diabetic friend, but that doesn't stop this parking lot prophet from elevating the grease levels as I slapped the shit out of the blockers on the bank. Barely even saw a pixel of them before I content vaulted them. Two large ones stood no chance against the crackhead with the spiky helmet and women's underwear taped to the faceplate. Invader decides to tussle with the muscle and I hone my edge like a blade. I laser beam him down and then just continue to get absolutely disgusting on the field. Look at the way I'm just flinging myself around like a sporadic toddler. This movement was so disgusting that it had the ability to neuralize even the most movement of movement kids. I was a demon on the field. We secured the win, and as per tradition, I blow myself up and give out commendations to the best players in the lobby. My armor acts as both a female repellent because as a professional Destiny player, I'm not allowed to associate with women, and it also undertakes the peacock method. Nobody expects this guy to actually do well, but standing out amongst the crowd as a beacon of raw sexual attraction is a tactical choice. It actually works at getting you more commendations, I swear. I put this into practice. It's amazing how many commendations you can get if you just look somewhat different. In Game 4, Papa Rye takes the gloves off. If there was ever a match for the enemy to behave in, oh boy, it was this one. I took the belt right off and got straight to spanking. I dealt out death at an inhuman rate. This was the original Book of Gambit, Rylee. The spirit of Rylee's past that almost rose to the occasion to become a reckoner. I'm like a disgraced knight from a From Software game.
This is no laughing matter, I tell you.
Now, when I say I wrote the Book of Gambit, there are certain things that I know you have to do in order to ensure your victory. First one is a well-debated topic amongst fellow Gambit virgins. Ancient rules that were passed down by the Gambit greats, and if the tenets were to be broken, would cause an extinction event on the level of what came after we shot that damn gorilla. The good Gambit lords wrote, "He who banks their moats first is an absolute fucking Neanderthal. Taking part in this heretical act can cause a butterfly effect of immense magnitude in your matches. Remember, kids, if you bank first in a Gambit match, you're the reason God abandoned us. Either way, I get some demonic plays in this arena, vaporizing this invader off the map with some Vex prediction engine level shit. The devastation I unleashed in this match meant there was hope for my lightning build to perform. After all the defeats we suffered, there was a chance for us to turn it around. And thanks to this match lasting only 3 minutes, I was able to close out Game 4 with a win. I once again indulge in my fashion addiction. Even putting together a dog shit set requires finesse and expertise. I do my best to allocate enough mental fortitude and a monumental amount of my time that I'll never get back to create this set in hopes of giving Crips and Muffin Bandit a brain aneurysm. But with the actual game finished, for now I was forced to return back to my mini game of Gambit. Once we load in, I gather my 15 motes for the large blocker and get ready to wait by the bank until the enemy deposits. I was ready to strike down those blockers the moment that they rolled up. My hope was to pop up an invasion portal after I whacked the blockers to kick them while they're down and make them lose motes while they try to clear out our blockers and your boy from the field. But imagine my surprise when Shrike, in their government-mandated psyop to prove that my faith in humanity actually does still contain the capacity to go lower than it does, decided that the best course of action was to shit directly in my cornflakes and bang those motes, brother!
Love of God!
The invasion portal pops up and I slink my way inside trying to capitalize, but due to the banking, your boy was forced to scramble like an egg lest he get folded like an omelet. I cracked under the pressure, but at least in true Rylee fashion, I managed to waste their time. Dr. Doobs and I focus fire down this absolute ass clown and go back to sweating buckets as we try our best to save the game, but the enemy team move like a well-coordinated SWAT team, and if my team had 2 rocks, they couldn't bang them together. In my final moments, I dart up into the air and launch a barrage of the Wardcliff coil. The blast manages to kill a couple of them. In the closing minutes of the match, I tried my best in multiple invasions to keep the team going, but after granting them more than enough time to come out on top, they still shitake'd their mushrooms. In my Herculean effort in trying to shepherd these fellow Gambit enjoyers to becoming the glory gifted, I was unable to save the game. A licensed psychiatrist couldn't have helped me take the weight of this massive L. Uncle Bungie decided for once in their lives that it was time to grant mercy on a parking lot brother by gifting me with the third tail catalyst and the shader Gambit Gambit Celadon. In Game 6, Uncle Drifter shows me the fingering technique that I've been lacking, then asks me if I could eat a Hive Knight.
Think you could eat a Hive Knight?
But being a warlock in the Destiny universe means I always ask the big questions. I've already moved on to better topics that affect humanity on a universal scale, like will I ever get a Horde mode in Destiny, and can the homies really heal from the things that they don't talk about? To style on me once again, Kraus decides to slam dunk a moat directly in my face, completely invalidating rule number 1 in the Book of Gambit's teachings. Then to add insult to injury while I wait to clear the blockers, yet another showcase of the average testosterone levels of a Destiny player takes up the mantle of Turd Smoker by yet again dunking. Either way, when I invade this time, I get this nasty ward clip that would make every Destiny montage YouTuber cream good and hard in their jorts, and turn my aggression on an old friend as Dr. Doobs and I bang our smooth brains together. In a bid for supremacy, I disrespect my entire bloodline by getting Xenophage down while I was in the air with 14 motes, but in the end, my invasions were slick enough to secure a win. Something I'm noticing about Gambit is that the matches go by at a pretty good pace. It's about 7 minutes or so of intense action where a lot of different components come together. Not only that, I was progressing in the ranks extremely quickly, and due to collecting old shaders and some new gear, I was feeling properly rewarded for my efforts, which in Destiny is basically like winning the fucking lottery. You just solo flawless the dungeon? Hope you like 53s, bitch! I know you're a warlock, so just for you, buddy, I'm putting it all into strength! I love these Drifter intros. One of my favorite things about the Destiny universe was the darkness aura surrounding the Drifter. I'll admit it's lost a bit of luster as we've moved away from the darkness corrupting our Guardian storyline, and into the, yeah, darkness is reaching out to us, and we've taken it into ourselves, and nearly every Guardian uses it on some level. But it's all good, man, we figured it out. This game mode came from a time when things were uncertain, and that uneasy feeling led to a sense that the universe was much larger than you, and that we were just cornered animals baring our teeth at the unknown. The Drifter was refreshing, because when dealing with the Vanguard, it often felt like I was always the goody two-shoes, even in the face of a second apocalypse, which wasn't a bad thing when we were on the ropes, as the enemies of the city could be lurking in any corner. But as we secured our place in the universe, and ultimately gathered plot armor so intense that most threats Bungie throws my way get neutrino starred if I merely look in their direction as we entered a new golden age. I swear, I beat these enemies like I do my dick. Fast and furious. Which reminds me of a tip Dom Toretto taught me about when you have this hex, and that's to never turn your back on family. Holy, who lets me write this shit? I mean, really. In Game 8, yeah, I'm glossing over the last one. I got my ass beat. Ain't no way I'm posting that. With how quickly you can move, recovery is always possible, especially when dealing with the sacred text in the chapter of Lightning. When studying the way of the Arc class, you take speed and raw devastating power into yourself, breaking your limits to strike like a thunderous storm, something I must have understood because of the way I named this match. I titled this game Unchained Killing Machine, and from watching the clips, I am disgusted what my Arc build did in there. The crimes I committed against my fellow Guardians would have had me locked deep within solitary confinement. My team unleashed an unyielding torrent of sheer explosive power upon my foes. I mean, the sheer disrespect I slapped upon the ads, and the enemy team was just as devastating as finding out your hot new RuneScape GF was actually me. It's just something I actually did. I stood at the Grand Exchange and was like, I beat GF for 1,000,000 gold. But you know what they say? 1,000,000 gold is 1,000,000 gold. The destruction I dealt was just about as dangerous as being 12 and locked in a room with a Minecraft YouTuber. I secured the W, but lost a bit of humanity along the way, snagging an impressive army of 1 medal, and closing out Game 8 with a win. This team in this match aligned the gaming chakra. They came to support when the blockers were up, and stayed by my side as we moved efficiently through the match. Another lesson the Book of Gambit can teach us is that your teammates must be more than teammates in order to achieve glory. As much as I like to rag on other players of Destiny, getting to share in some amazing moments, and having fun in a medium we all enjoy is something that brings us together. Whether or not you're the sweatiest of Trials players, or the most caffeine-addicted of PvE players, soloing your 59th hit of Heresy, something that all unites us is that we share this as a hobby. In our lives, we could have chosen to do literally anything else, and probably improved them. Productive? The fuck kind of exotic is that? And instead, we all rallied behind the same calling, be that for loot, glory, or just having a good time with your fellow Guardians. The second rule that I have relearned from the Book of Gambit is that your team is everything. These lads took care of me this round, and when the time came came to stand in the face of danger for them, you bet your ass that I stood tall. They even took the time to revive me when I had lost 14 motes, a saintly move that I haven't seen much of since the warrior of the Chadley type, Be Strong 80, saved me all those moons ago. Not only that, but the amount of death I was dishing out made it so you could have sworn I was a Tibia Mariner. If there was ever a hardened team of aces that would band together to violate the Geneva Conventions, this was it. The enemies couldn't even sign the consent form when these big dick bazoozos decided to come a-knocking. Despite not being in the lead, they combined the power of friendship like an anime protagonist and hit the boss with a devastating attack, bringing a new joy and what felt like almost moisture to the eyes of this crusty, jaded warlock main. A tale of great camaraderie that can often find itself a rare oddity in Destiny. Now it is here. We finally reached the end. A chance to reflect on all that we have learned from the pages in the chapter of Lightning. In the Book of Gambit, there is a lot to be learned, each teaching being a chance to improve and grow as a player. One of the biggest things the Way of Lightning teaches us is that you need to strike fast. Hesitation equals defeat. There is a reason that you are unable to drink of stagnant water, and that is because that which remains stagnant in an ever-changing, ever-evolving world becomes toxic to the things around it. Something that I've been struggling with a lot recently. There is so many times that I pause because I find myself more worried that the devil I don't know will be worse than the one that I do. So I often wait for something to grace my presence with its guidance, as if some sign will drop from the heavens and bless me with the proper way to reach my goals. Only now do I understand in some capacity that in the absence of direction, all we can rely on is speed. And brother, we're going pretty fast now. Change is inevitable, and the only way to navigate through life is to always be willing to adapt. In order to ascend well beyond your mortal limits, you must harness your ability to understand and make calculated moves. Using Gambit as an example, if you listen while you move, learn while you fight, and adapt your strategy to best suit your outcome on the fly, then you will mantle your way to the greats. Change may be inevitable, but you will only fail if you do not change as everything else does. Carry momentum in your heart. Continue when you feel directionless, and hold the line when all seems lost. Move like the current. Cloud the judgment of the enemy like the thunderous storm that pulses through your very veins, and with precision and accuracy, strike at the heart.
That time evil's nearly dead.
Thank you for stopping by and reading the chapter of Lightning in the Book of Gambit with your favorite storyteller this evening, that being Papa Rye. You're probably wondering where I've been all this time. Well, don't you worry. Fret not, my Hot Wheels disciples, because your parking lot Papa has returned with the milk. I've had a few projects in the background that I've been working on. It ranges from storyboarding from Lightless 4, creating the Book of Gambit. This shit was supposed to be a single video, but judging by the runtime of this bitch, that shit didn't pan out. I hope to make each part as good as this bad boy, and I really hope that this one delivered. I love making people laugh and knowing that my videos are both low budget, but still worthwhile. It warms my heart. Not only that, Inertia helped actually edit the first half of this video, so if you like it, make sure to comment. There's gonna be more of these videos, hopefully on a more regular basis, but they may slow down a bit. I'm hyped up for Season of the Deep and can't wait to stream it every week. Hopefully I'll get Jin in there, and that'll be streamed over at Rylee Reloaded on Twitch. Here's a preview for the next Book of Gambit video. It's literally just the on fire drifter. I'm guessing you can imagine what subclass this is. I've also got a Destiny 1 challenge cooking up and another Destiny 2 challenge video that will hopefully be coming soon. At the moment, I still have to work full-time in order to sustain myself, and have slowed down as a result, but I've not given up on this in the slightest. With everyone who subscribes, watches the videos, and joins my Patreon, I get closer and closer to doing what I love full-time. And I can't stress how much I actually love editing. I know some people don't, but it's one of my favorite things to do. Creating artwork and memes, the amount of joy I get from interacting with everyone in my community, hosting events, is monumental. I even remember cheering on Dosey for White Gear Flawless Witch Queen. That shit was cash. So I want to extend a thank you to everyone who sticks with me while I drop off the face of the earth for a while. And a huge thanks to my patrons who help me get the gear, hire artists, and valuable upgrades for my setup to hopefully produce higher quality stuff. So I want to give a big thanks to Cyborg Guy, Master Zai, Snoodle, Patrick Sniffler, Ramenless Gold, Lionheart 141, Skittles, Rockstar Testicle, Spencer Kanda, fuck. Spencer Candila. Hopeless Chloromantic. You guys are just picking all the worst names for me to read. You should see how much I stutter in these videos. Skyward Echo, Not the Legend. Sona Shot, Light Wolf Gaming. Fellwinter's Fly. Scorn Hub Premium, that's so good. I like that. Parzival, Doorman is God. Reject Cloth. Happy, the Unhappy Cat. Darth C. Delta Shell. Again, god damn it, Microsoft Strap on. You make me say that every time. Akiyu Twee. Grenshu. Sticky oh no. Zero Kelvin. Adeptus Igni. Lunar Leaf Sheep. IV Omega IV. Or 4 Omega 4. Exo Warlock. George Neely. Extron. Good to see ya. Preston Rhodes. Nitron. Patches 3. It Was You. Wumpus the Friendless. Wildfire 56. Dr. Dinky. Agenda. Cameron Spoon. Phantom Nuva. I'm sorry I missed it last time. We're making this shit special. Moose Master. Master Amis. Definitely not the Power Color PR team. What reason could they possibly have to apologize monetarily? That's a really good one. You better not be working with Power Color, I swear to God. Dragon Boy SD. Chase Killday. Vibronius Michael. Alex Gark 01. Ashen Cyndia. Legend of Swoop. Zeriak. Ogstratus. Bilbo. James Hardy. Ahegao Kurimi. Tully. Rylee from Berta. Stephen Wagner. Xavier. Ibrahim Altwiri. Grumpy Grandpa. Jonathan Schultz. Aeroglyph. Ixis. Fenbiscus P. Dem Dirty Blues. Major Brain Damage. Geo Polichinelle. Insert name here. Alex Smith. Ahmed El Bashri. Zombie Fox. Conquer Reloaded. Jack Mage. Arik McMyer. Crusader. Saint of the Walmart Jesus. Go my son.
Spreading things shit, man.
Asclepius. Zyna. Pathetic Mango. Momo No Legs. It's Game Boy 365. Goose 28. Gucci 28. Founder of the Knights of Reloaded. Lee. Woodman the Splintered. Magneto. Your friend Steven. Sir Depresso. U.S. Navy Squid. Luke Sturch. Enter Your Name 94. Sharky. Matt Herrick. Later. Gamma Rat. Cameron Scholes. Mr. Captain McDaddy Clutch the Amazing. Rycon 6. Zuppel, sick of this shit. Just kidding. I love it when people mess with me inside of this stuff. KXNG Kitty Bitty. Garrett Kane. Demetrius. Pepsi Main. Magneto. Flat Surface. Kel of Ankle Taking. Uncertain. The Cosmic Essence. Arliss McGuire. Zarin King. Sensei Smalls. Mordaunt. T7 Code 99. I Beat Stevie. Jonathan Blaylock. Cozy. Eamon Smith. Hot Wheels took in a sharp and deep breath as Mattel's light stitched his bone and organ back together. I swear to fuck, Lizard. Riley Sheldon. Azure Knight. Lone Ranger 2412. Capone left Destiny, but we will pull back soon. I'm back. I'm back, motherfucker. Tekka, the Mugless, Sovad. Zerx 14A. Max C. X9X9X9X9X9. Ben Stanfill. XD7228. Kevin Noda. Fish. Gamer Weenus. Delegator Volkeen. Thrumond and Dragon Waffle. Honestly, it warms my heart to see you guys sticking around with this. I'm so inactive on everything, but seeing everybody here is just such an amazing thing to me. Oh, I got me too. Hot Wheels Enthusiast. CO Camo 3. Crimbo the Undying. Bogo's Binted. Super Steven is still around. Lightless was like a fever dream, and I don't think it would have came out if Steven didn't do that artwork. I loved it. Told him, hey, can you help me with an animation for it? And Steven's like, the fuck? And extremely bad deadlines. I'll do better next time. James Escalante. Some Marchy Desk Hopper. Xavier Human, who has gifted me with the gift of a lovely keyboard. This keyboard is goddamn amazing. And thanks to this, you should see how fast I edit. I was using fucking Neanderthals tools before. Now I'm in the future. And finally, I made your guys' names yellow because you guys have been around since the beginning and I want to extend it to everybody, but I gotta go through and make sure I get everyone right. I just know that I didn't even advertise my Patreon. You guys just like, there, support him. And I was like, holy fuck, somebody gave me money. Dumbest use of money I have seen. I'm just kidding. I try to do my best. Thank you all so much for dropping by. I've been Papa Rye, your Hot Wheels provider. And now that things are kinda leveling off back in my day-to-day, hopefully I can get back to a more normal upload schedule. And I can truthfully say that I cannot wait to catch you in the next one. the Hot Wheels man with the wheels drip. Yeah, king of the game if the game was getting killed. Styling on him, son, the pistol whip papa. So hide your mamas, ain't never making it out with good karma. The money I generate on a daily basis feeds my silver addiction, but this drip, you know it's going places. God rolls so slick and clean, you'd swear I'm pulling aces out of places never heard before, then lining barrels up with faces. I pull the trigger, the drag's gonna know it goes pop pop when I bust out the blue and orange, your mother scream don't stop. I fail upwards, on my way to the top, moving to battle with my boy Nimbus in his horse cock. Ooh, we ain't never making it out the hood. This boy's very low budget, extremely overrated. Career was basically over before it began. That's just the way I like it.